Welcome on into Raw Thoughts. I'm your host, Josh Reese, and this episode is going to be dedicated to SmackDown Live on September 5th, 2017. So, if you listen to the Raw Thoughts from Monday Night Raw, my takeaway from um, that episode of Monday Night Raw was the fact that there really wasn't too much that happened during the show. SmackDown Live, an hour shorter, and there might have been a little bit more interest in SmackDown Live, at least for me. So let's just get on into some of the high points from SmackDown Live. And I guess the highest point is the continuation of the feud between Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon as they seemingly ramp up the attacks, the verbal beatdowns, the literal beatdowns, up until their eventual payoff for, I imagine, Survivor Series in Houston. But anyways, so Kevin Owens gets into the ring where Carmella is already in there, waiting for her match with Natalia. Kevin Owens says he is going to be the referee. Shane McMahon, of course, says, "Oh hell no!" We all saw what happened last week with Sami Zayn and was it Baron Corbin? Sami Zayn and Aiden English. There we go. So Shane McMahon says that will not happen again. Kevin and Owens and McMahon ensue in a promo fest where I'm not sure if Shane McMahon forgot his lines or if he was pausing for dramatic effect for some reason. Because when he started his lines again after the big pause, I mean he went without missing a beat. So I mean, it's not like, I don't know. It was strange. But considering the promos we hear from Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw, it was a little bit weird to hear the pause and Shane's eyes, kind of going back and forth in his head trying to search for something. He ended up finding it, and the promo fest ensued, where Kevin Owens talked about Shane's sons or his children twice. And after the first time, Shane warned him not to talk about him again. Kevin Owens does what he always does and antagonizes and pokes the bear, and he got his ass beat. Now, I marked out for this mainly because before it went to commercial break, I tweeted, and you can follow me over at Mr. Joshua on Twitter. I tweeted, I sure hope that Kevin McMahon, Kevin needs to sue Shane McMahon. If this is real and this isn't a show about wrestling, I mean, he probably should sue. So of course, as they come back from commercial break, Kevin Owens says the exact same damn thing. I'm gonna sue everyone in WWE. Shane, his father, his brother, his mother, his sister, whatever, everyone. So later on in the show, Daniel Bryan suspends Daniel Bryan gets a call from Shane McMahon, from Vince McMahon, and Vince apparently gives him the authority to suspend Shane McMahon indefinitely. So they get in the ring, he suspends Shane, and later on, Daniel Bryan tries to talk to Kevin Owens and tries to even this all out, square it all away. And Kevin Owens is still livid and says he's not done with anybody yet. And Daniel drops that Vince, the big boss man himself, will be here next week to sort everything out. So I look forward to Kevin Owens and Vince McMahon meeting in the ring, promoing off against each other. It should be tons of fun. And if there's anything to get me excited, it's when Vince McMahon comes out. I do enjoy him when he comes to the ring. A couple years ago, after Roman Reigns won What was that feud about? Roman Reigns, he was in the Battle Royale, and no, it was the Royal Rumble. It was either before or after that Vince McMahon came out. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. Great stuff. So the other thing that I thought was fairly interesting on SmackDown Live was the Dolph Ziggler. I thought he was going to have a match on SmackDown Live, but he did not, as he he ended up going through a couple different gimmicks, and damn, it was entertaining to see him do this work. He first came out as John Cena. That was epic. He went back in and came out as Macho Man Randy Savage with a hot chick on his arm. That was great. Then he came out as Naomi, as I guess the I don't know what we call Naomi. Is she the glow in the dark predator? It's kind of what she looks like. But anyways, Dolph Ziggler was great, as he was annoyed and pretty much says the WWE does not the WWE universe does not deserve him, and I don't blame him the way they forget about Mr. Dolph Ziggler. So I definitely enjoyed Dolph and the way the creativeness behind, I guess, the way they're booking him. I really like to think that this is all Dolph coming up with this stuff, but I'm sure it's a writer. But Dolph executes it to a damn T. I'll tell you that. The only other thing that I thought was of big interest during Monday Night Raw, and there's another one of minor interest, but we'll get to that in a minute, but was Carmella. And I'm not really entirely sure what was going on here, but Natalya and Carmella had a match. There was a little bit of distraction from James Ellsworth as he accidentally dropped the Money in the Bank briefcase in the ring, and Carmella freaked out because the ref thought that she was cashing in when she clearly wasn't. So Carmella turned on James Ellsworth. She called him inhuman, chinless, all those other things that everyone has called James Ellsworth probably for his entire life. So she walks away from him, and I thought that was it until James Ellsworth later on in the show begged Carmella to take him back, and she does take him back and gives him a big fat kiss for some weird reason, and then slaps him in the face and says that we are going to start doing things my way. So were they doing things the way James Ellsworth wanted them to go in the beginning? Because that was dumb, if that was true. I'm not really entirely sure why she needed to turn on him and then bring him back into the fold. I don't know. But I will say, without Carmella, I don't really know what else James Ellsworth does in the WWE. So I guess that it is what it is. But it was of minor interest, and I guess we will, in the coming weeks, figure out what Carmella's master plan is now that she is apparently controlling herself and James Ellsworth. Oh boy, that should be interesting. And then lastly, the final thing of interest was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Randy Orton. I thought that match was perfectly fine. It was a good match, and it was very, very nice to see Randy Orton putting over Shinsuke. It was great. Of course, that's the way it's scripted, but, I always like to feel that the veterans are, putting over the big talent. And honestly, I don't know if my brain could stand to see another Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal match. I'm not entirely a big fan of Randy Orton and his wrestling. I like Jinder Mahal. I think everyone knows that. But Randy Orton, he just doesn't do it for me. But I am interested in seeing Shinsuke and Jinder Mahal fight at No Mercy. I hope they let the match breathe a little bit longer than they had at SummerSlam. I am very interested in seeing Shinsuke and Jinder Mahal wrestle a better match. While I did enjoy the fact that Jinder Mahal retained at SummerSlam, I did think it could have been a much better match, and hopefully we'll get to see that match at No Mercy. I still don't see Jinder Mahal dropping the belt unless until Jinder Mahal loses the Singh brothers or fires the Singh brothers or murders the Singh brothers or whatever. But until the Singh brothers are no longer with Jinder Mahal, I don't really see him dropping the belt. There's too many ways that they could screw in with a match to help Jinder win. So unless there's a stipulation to where the Singh brothers will not be at ringside during No Mercy, I have no reason to believe Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win. Although, I will say, I do want to start seeing Jinder Mahal win by himself. I think that would make him look like a much stronger wrestler. He is big. He is strong. He should be winning matches by himself, and I would like to see him at least win one or two matches. Maybe a clean win. That would be nice. Although I have a hard time believing he's going to win cleanly over Shinsuke. So that was pretty much it for SmackDown Live on September 5th. Next week we are going to have not Sami Zayn. We're going to have Ty Dillinger versus AJ Styles for U.S. Championship match. And of course there will be interference from Baron Corbin. Of course there will. We are also going to have SmackDown title championship match. And it will be between the New Day and the Usos. And it will be in a street fight. And I'm not really I can't remember what else they announced. I'm sure Bobby Roode will probably be there. He wasn't on this week's episode of SmackDown Live, so maybe he'll be there for next week. Also the rematch for Natalya and for the women's championship between Natalya and Naomi. So a pretty full episode of SmackDown Live is coming to us next week in Las Vegas. So that should be pretty entertaining. So that's pretty much all I got on this episode of Raw Thoughts. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not. I would appreciate it. Also, feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this episode of SmackDown Live. What'd you like? What didn't you like? Let me know. I would appreciate it. And also, please share this one with any other WWE fans you might know of. So that's pretty much all I got. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Joshua, but that's it, folks. And we will be back next week on Raw Talk as we talk about Monday Night Raw. So until then, we'll catch y'all guys later.